Dr. Gonstead's statement, medicine, the study of disease, what causes man to die. Chiropractic, the study of health and what causes man to live. Doesn't that say it all?
The body is designed to be healthy, and I have the pleasure of putting back the way it was designed. It's just like if you cut your finger and you put a Band-Aid on it, that Band-Aid doesn't heal that cut. Your body does that healing. If you broke an arm, you put a cast on it. Well, that cast doesn't heal it, the body heals it. And so we just adjust the body, get the body functioning the way it was designed, and the body heals itself.
もう頭痛が毎日ひどくって、その頭痛をどうしても治したくって。
Originally, I had severe back pain.
I was having SI joint pain along with sciatic nerve pain from my 4th pregnancy.
My left side was starting to atrophy.
姿勢が良くないっていうのをすごい指摘されて。
I went and saw a Navy doctor.
Our country is just not educated. They can give you drugs to cover up the symptoms, and then 20 years later you've lost a disc because it was never corrected properly.
It has its place, but people are under a false impression that the medicine fixes you, that it cures you. But it doesn't.
When I was stationed on the East Coast, I suffered a significant jump injury. I went and saw a Navy doctor who said the only way I was going to get better is if I fused my cervical discs together. I wanted a second opinion, and I discovered Gonstead Chiropractic care, which I found was really helping me recover.
You got to be Sherlock Holmes to be a medical doctor. It's listening to the patient, and you're going to try to pharmaceutical intervention. That's based on chemistry. A lot of physicians are interested in chemistry because they're dealing with drugs, and they need to know toxicity levels, side effects, things like that. You need to know all that. That's a medical education. Wonderful. It's great for that discipline. But that's not right for chiropractic. Chiropractic is a physical interaction between you and the patient in terms of delivering a thrust to the right location of their spine.
Life-saving care, life-generating care. Emergency care is necessary. If you're having a stroke, don't come see me. If you've had a fall and you got bones sticking out of you, don't come see me. After you get that fixed up, come on in. And you know what? Eli Lilly said there's no medicine or no drug that's manufactured that doesn't have 2 or 3 major side effects. And most of your patients come in with 1 drug they're taking for the problem and 2 or 3 drugs for the side effects of that drug. We adjust a person, and it doesn't do that. I mean, it's cool. I love what I do. I love what I do because you can see the change in the people's eyes.
We set the bar up here. That's how big chiropractic is. So not only are you keeping people healthy, because it's a measure of serum thiol, is a measure of DNA repair enzyme activity, not only are you helping that patient, you're helping future generations. That's how big chiropractic is. It's not about back pain. Enough said.
So much confusion in chiropractic. There's many different techniques. And the Gonstead discipline really is the most comprehensive. First thing we'll do is we want to examine the patient. We want to actually have our hands palpating and touching the spine. One of the tools that we use is an instrument. It's a bilateral thermocouple device. It's called the nervoscope. Essentially, that's running along the spine of the patient. We're looking for heat temperature differentials. It's telling us where there's pressure on a nerve. And that always is confirmed by what we call static palpation. In other words, feeling the spine. And once we identify where that pressure or disturbance, a phenomenon we call a subluxation, is located, we'll confirm how is it stuck? Where is that restriction pattern? And in that palpation is something that takes place every time with that patient. So we know which vertebrae we're on, and we can confirm by that x-ray assessment how it needs to move. And then the follow-up, we have the tools to follow up with care to determine when is it appropriate to see that patient again. When is it appropriate to stop, discontinue care? There's nothing in the chiropractic disciplines, unlike Gonstead, that provides the tools to ensure that to take place.
I went and saw my very first Gonstead doctor on the East Coast and saw significant results. I felt it was important to try to continue with the Gonstead methodology, and ever since then, haven't turned back. as part of coming up through the military, a lot of my colleagues and work teammates, they find themselves in the hospital just working on everyday back, shoulder, knee issues, things that pop up over a long career being in the military. For me, I found that I've been able to stay outside of that just chronic medical where you're seeing the doctors, because I've been really focused on working on chiropractic care, giving me that strong core foundation that allows me to stay physical and just well-rounded, and that gives me an edge. That allows me to focus on my job. Mentally, I'm a lot clearer, and then on the triathlon course, when it comes to races, I don't get set back. I'm able to just continue racing and staying consistent, which is key to success in triathlon.
And any of my professional athletes from football and from basketball, although they love this sport, how they're living with the chronicity of their issue, the aches and the pains and the amount of things they have to manage with drugs, and even though they know it's damaging. So I look for the big picture of quality of life. So it's a different perspective. Maybe that comes from my prenatal and pediatric background, is looking more long-term.
A holistic lifestyle is technically a natural lifestyle approach. So we try to eliminate all medication that we can. We go through either vitamins, supplements, or chiropractic care for any issues that we may have, or even general maintenance, so that we can maintain our health before getting sick.
I have births that are non-medicated, so I really feel that chiropractic care allows me to do that, from being in perfect, good alignment, and just for the baby's head to be where it should be. I initially started coming because I was having SI joint pain along with sciatic nerve pain from my 4th pregnancy, where it made it hard to even walk.
When I have a new patient, okay, the only time I talk symptoms in the office is on initial consultation. I do a review of systems, and I'm going to dig deep. I'm going to find out if you've ever had a hangnail. And I finish up, I turn the pad of paper, because I write them down. I said, everything we've written down are called effects. The difference between medical doctors and chiropractors, medical doctors treat effects. We try to find out what's causing those. Does that make sense? They always say, yeah, it does make sense. You know why? It's the truth.
And all the MD does, he treats the symptom. And they're great for getting rid of symptoms with drugs. I mean, they got drugs now, you can put you in la-la land, you just float around every day like nothing's going on while your body just rots away.
Your wrist should be flat.
Our education has advanced so much. I don't know if it's still the same today, but I remember when years back, we had more x-ray hours than a GP in our curriculum. More hours in physiology than a GP in our curriculum. The only thing we didn't surpass with them, because we didn't have it, was pharmacology, because we don't use it. So with that being said, we can determine if something just doesn't look right.
My parents sent me to 3 top medical specialists because they didn't know anything about chiropractic, nor did I. The first specialist gave me narcotic drugs. The second doctor gave me these huge shots on my arm that the fluid ran through my system and tasted terrible. Next morning I wake up with like boils over my body. Third specialist wanted to do exploratory back surgery. And I'm like 15 years old. It's already ruined my high school sports. And a neighbor came over and says, why don't you go see my chiropractor? And he says, what's a chiropractor?
Now I'm way up here on the transverse. See? I use the finger contact. Now you watch where I put my knee. It's up here.
Dr. Gonstead was such a kind person. He always impressed me how he handled, how he touched people, the way he practiced and the way he showed how to do things. For many years I was able to see him perform. Our whole group from the school were just taken in how proficient he did everything. Everything in his system, adjusting is so precise.
When I was at Palmer, it was a wide open campus. All the chiropractic greats would come and talk about chiropractic and their techniques, and that also was intellectually really mind-blowing. And I came up here, and I think it was his last seminar. He had a baby, and there was something about the way he handled the infant that told me that he was going to get to the bottom of the problem. He had a grasp of subluxation, of the reality of subluxation and its nature so well understood that he could easily find it.
His methodology to finding and fixing a subluxation, it is having a patient ungown, palpating their back and running a nervoscope down their back and then looking at an x-ray to deliver an adjustment. That's what a Gonstead adjuster does today.
You can call me a Gonstead chiropractor, but I'm not just a chiropractor. I'm Dr. Lawler. And our effort is to do the best we can for your spine. So if you had a basketball player, for example, they would either study Michael Jordan or Kobe Bryant or whoever their model is, and there's only a few that you're going to put at the very top of the list. And Gonstead's in that category.
He loved taking care of patients. He would see patients before the seminar. He'd see patients at break. He'd see patients at lunch. He'd always have the view box right over here. He'd grab a few films and start talking about what he was seeing that day. He talked about this quadriplegic he's taking care of from Mexico. Well, at break, I go upstairs and I see this kid. So it wasn't a war story from 20 years ago or 10 years ago or last month. It was right then. And I really liked what Doc Gonstead had to say, so I started coming back. I came back in 2 months, and there's that same kid who's in a wheelchair walking with a cane. Now, I was taught great philosophy at Palmer College Chiropractic. Every single one of my teachers was a practicing chiropractor. So philosophy, you don't even have philosophy courses. Philosophy was a silver thread that went through every single course. But then I got to see it.
See, drop it back here like that. See? Then bring it over this way. Then come back so you got this leeway. Now, these 2 fingers are down there. The other's up in the occiput. I got his head up against my chest so that everything is stable. Now, see that set in just like that, see?
Good question that we get asked is how does, in chiropractic, particularly Gonstead chiropractic, how do we tailor techniques from somebody who's older to somebody who's younger? That's the beauty of the Gonstead system, is that we have many tools to use. We spend 90% of the time evaluating the patient to see, number one, do they need to be adjusted? And then the accuracy of where they need to be adjusted and the art and sometimes the speed of an adjustment. That's the beauty of what we do in our Gonstead work, and it can be adapted to any age group.
Once I had kids of my own, I got my hands on them, and you just stare into their eyes, and you fall in love with taking care of their spirit. A lot of the problems that the adults had that we were taking care of had started when they were kids. So why not start taking care of the kids first?
I'm not a huge fan of chaos, but I love the chaos that little kids bring because you never know what they're gonna say. It's always funny watching their brains grow, like them transition from like little to like baby to like 5 or 6 year old. It's amazing to watch and I absolutely love it.
Elite athletes, it's children, it's teenagers, it's kids that are sitting at Zoom meetings and in really bad posture to adults that just want to maintain health and everything in between. The nervous system controls and coordinates every cell, organ, and tissue of the body. So when you restore nerve function to the body, removing interference, the body's ability to heal itself is remarkable. So we just remove the interference and then the potential is expressed.
My approach is really like, it's depending on you. Some people say, hey, I am not obese, so I'm not going to the gym. Hey, I'm not obese, but I am going to the gym. I don't think, this Gonstead chiropractic is for the just pain management purpose or like symptom management purpose. It's way, way more than that. Like allopathic approach means like Western medicine is, this is the problem, so that's the reason why you need this. This is the pain, that's the reason why you need this. Yeah, I do some degree, but what we are looking for is how much you can be an awesome dad you can be, how much awesome husband you can be if you have a more vitality, if you have more energy, or if your body is moving so awesome. We are not taking care of this level of care. I am taking care of way, way more this, or more tapping into the how much potential you can be, how much awesome version of you can be.
So about 5 years ago, I served in the Army and I injured my back being in an airborne unit, and I ended up getting medically discharged because they weren't able to fix my back problems. So about 2.5 years ago, a friend referred me, and ever since then I have been pretty much back to normal, no back pain. And when I had been to other chiropractors with the table, it actually made my back pain worse, so it didn't quite get the back pain the way that the Gonstead practice does. And ever since coming here, it really helped the way that my back needed to be adjusted.
That's the major difference there, because you don't want to twist yourself.
When they realize they're sleeping better and feeling better and their body's functioning better, it's not a coincidence that there's a cause and there's an effect. You get adjusted and you get healthier. Well, for one thing, what is the first sign of a heart attack? It's the heart attack itself. What is the first sign of cancer? Quite often, cancer can grow to the size of a golf ball or a grapefruit before people even are aware of it. So your pain is not a true indicator of your health. A lot of people aren't aware of the potential that they have to be healthy. So when they come in with their aches and pains, that is a great entryway to introduce them to the wellness lifestyle.
First time I saw an x-ray of my spine was appalling. My first appointment was amazing. I saw the x-rays of my spine, which was still a mess. Seeing how the Gonstead method is able to work on those pinpoint issues, right away I started to see results. Just over time, seeing the corrections was amazing.
Well, you can see the anatomy and you can see the condition of the bone, you can see the condition of the disc, whether the disc is degenerated or not, if they have bone spurs into the nerve openings or into the spinal cord. Last week I had probably 5 patients probably, that either had extra vertebra or too few vertebra from the standard count. And if a person thinks they're adjusting something without an x-ray, it could be a backwards result for them.
You want to make sure that you're going to do the right thing for what that person needs right then. It's amazing the difference that you can see with somebody with a Gonstead adjustment. It's more than changing muscle function. You're actually affecting their physiology.
So when I first started my journey with chiropractic, I didn't know much about it. I just thought it was, oh, crack my bones, sounds interesting, right?
Within a few visits, the neck was fine. I could relax, I could sleep. All the ringing went away, the headache went away. And I think what the difference is Gonstead is specific to me, to my body, to what's going on in my life and my spine.
When you are under chiropractic care, it's not just about getting rid of your pain, it's about having the freedom to do anything you want to do in your life.
How is this possible? I was just injured, I could barely even work, and now I'm cranking out my days. I have to do this for other people.
Birth for my 4th daughter was probably the smoothest, fast, quick, easy, no issues at all. Now I do it more for maintenance.
先生のところに行って、施術を受けた後、すぐは結構疲れた感じ、体があるんですけど、その日ぐらいから結構スッとしてなんかこう背中の何か取れたような感じがして、妊娠中も行きましたし、妊娠終わってからも別に定期的に、はい、これからも行きたいと思ってます。病院よりもカイロに行きたいなと思ってます。
We experience health through our nervous system, and our nervous system controls everything. And if you're not experiencing optimal health, you need to come in and get checked. I couldn't imagine my family not getting specific care. That's what I want to do for other families. They deserve to know that there is a better way.
When you find some grandfather that can't even hold his grandkids, I mean, that's terrible. But after a while, hey, I can hold my grandkids. I can play catch with them. I can go swimming with them. To see the stuff that these older people can do just makes you feel warm and fuzzy.
They're going to focus on exactly what I need, and I think that's where my belief in Gonstead came from.
Run of the mill, everyone's getting the same thing, year in and year out. There's none of that. It's truly what I believe to be, the epitome of chiropractic.
I feel like I'm in my late teens, early 20s, but it's just my whole being feels more rejuvenated. This was like getting adjusted maybe like once or twice a week. So it's definitely something that I think you gotta commit to. You got and give it a chance. Let it change your life like it did mine.
Not only have I regained stability and balance, my back pain has gone away. I've regained muscle in my left leg, and I'm able to do the things I love, like play golf and actually go pro in golf. I don't have fear when I am playing to swing as hard as I can.
Medical oxygen sterile, fear chiropractors give hope, and never remove hope from a patient.